If you want it bad enough, you will figure out what it takes to get there. Sometimes you've gone to all the seminars, you've listened to everything, you've trained your body, you've trained your mind to do it. You just got to want it and go do it and get out of the way and let your body perform to what it's capable of doing.
Appreciate you getting on, dude.
Yeah.
For those watching, welcome again to the Insurance Insiders podcast. Got my buddy Derek, who is training me. For those of them that are following this crazy health, people ask why I do these events, and they say I'm broken, which I agree with fully. And then, everybody thinks I'm nuts. And, last year was the first big year doing anything, man. And I did some cool things, but I didn't do quite what I wanted. And I learned I didn't quite follow the plan, even though I yell at people about prepping and training and doing all the things to be ready for what you say you want in life. And I found out real quick I have to be a little more ready this year than last year, man. So appreciate the last, 6 months or 8 months or whatever since we've been talking. It's been a learning experience, dude. It's been fun.
That's cool. You've been training hard and consistent.
I have been working my ass off, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I have been working my ass off. So.
Yeah. I feel good about your fitness level and where you're at.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I don't know what y'all see. Like when I go to the doctor, I've been working. I told you I started going to a new doctor to figure out all the inside stuff that's wrong. His exterior, people are like, you look great. And inside, it's a whole different animal.
Right.
And she recently, she put me on a pretty strict and disciplined like regimen of supplements and things to fix stuff. And every time I go, she's like, are you sure it's okay? Are you sure you're taking all the stuff? Are you sure it's not too much? And she's always coming from like a negative way, And a couple months ago, I was like, why do you always ask me that way? Like, it's like you're trying to you're giving me the door to be like, no, it's too much. Like, why are you doing that? And she says, because you're the only client I have that listens to everything I say.
Yeah.
I was like, no shit. So
that's awesome.
It'd be an interesting perspective, man, to hear your take on people trying to do big things, because a lot of people talk. And you're one of the ones doing it,
Yeah, but that's what it takes. It's like you can't be an expert at everything, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you are an expert in an area, then you're more apt to listen to experts in other areas, because you're like, look, I focus on this, my attention's here. I know a little bit about my car, but I'm not going to pretend to tell you I'm going to fix any kind of problem with it, right? So I'm going to listen to my mechanic. I'm going to listen to a guy that I trust, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate that of you. You're an expert in your area, and you're like, okay, Tosh isn't an expert in this area. I'm going to trust his advice. I'm going to do what he says, and that's what you do, and that's how you get good at multiple things.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I would tell me, what's the background, dude? I don't know. Obviously, a lot. I've chatted a little bit over time, but every time I talk to you, I'm like, this dude does a lot more than I know. You just got back from a crazy trip, and I think your background's professional. I just want to hear more, dude.
Yeah, I guess a quick overview. I always wanted to be in the fitness industry. Job shadowed a personal trainer when I was 12. And dead serious.
Really?
So yeah, I was studying fitness at a very young age and applying what I was learning to my own body. I was an athlete. I always thought I would wrestle in college. I came from this great pedigree of wrestling. Our high school hadn't lost a conference championship in 34 years. Yeah, I know. It's wild. And so they were on ESPN, the magazine, and everything. My coach was highlighted, and ended up getting good at track and field. Did well at wrestling in our state championships, but was even better at track and field, and ended up running track in college. Went from, ironically, a dynasty of wrestling, never losing a conference championship, to a dynasty in track and field. I went to actually a D3 school, UW La Crosse, but we didn't lose a national championship the entire time I was there. We four-peated. Actually, we won indoor track and outdoor track NCAA titles my freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Even won cross country one year, which is called the Triple Crown. And so growing up through that, I got to see what it takes to build a dynasty and to build a winning organization and a winning team. And I knew what it took to win. I think winning is a skill that you develop, and when you can see it, and when you go to something that's not a winning organization, you're like, oh, yeah, there's a stark difference here, right?
Yeah.
And so out of college, signed a contract with a track club. We were sponsored by Nike to continue on for a couple more years. Ran at the USA World Team Trials in '03 and '05, the Olympic Trials in '04. Was never really, I
Okay.
was good enough to be in the race, but never really good enough to make the big
Yeah.
show, right? Um, and yeah, so I coached a couple years at another D3 organization. I was like, wow, this is how athletes act? Like this is not what I'm
So you
used to.
coach track after, you're saying.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I
Got it. Got it.
moved back home and a local college said, "Hey, we heard you moved back home. Where are you going to train?" And I was like, "Well, I was hoping to train at your college." And he goes, "Well, if you're training here, you can coach here too." And so, yeah, I
Okay.
coached the 400 meter crew for and the hurdle crew for a competitive organization that I ran at in college. And it was just a stark difference between kind of the militant, like, look, you're here to either get better or get cut kind of
Yeah.
mentality to this kind of like wild and crazy, unorganized, you know, undisciplined group. And yeah, that was my first kind of visual of
So
reality.
before that, all you knew was
That,
the success side, high school,
yeah,
college,
yeah,
winners.
you win.
Oh,
Yeah, winners win. Yeah. And just, yeah, the mentality that took. And we could go into detail. We could talk for hours just on that. But
yeah, 100%.
I ended up, I moved back home and the high school that I went to, they were on me. Once I got done with my own track career, I stopped coaching at that college and, just got into business for a while. And then my kids were kind of getting old enough to be in a track program. I'm like, okay, I should probably get some eyes on this program. And they were just god awful. They were horrible. It was it,
Really?
it was the worst sport in the school's history. The girls had never won a conference championship in the history of the school. 53 years of women's track and field, and they hadn't won once. And the boys won one time in 1979. And this is the organization I came into. It was horrible. And I like the first year I was there, my wife came to track practice one day. She's like, "Where's track practice?" I was like, "This is it."
This is
She's like, "What are they doing?" And
Damn.
so I'm like, "Yeah, it took 4 years to develop that team. In the last 4 years, the boys have taken second, second, first, and first in the conference, and the girls won their first conference championship this year. So
Really?
we swept it this year.
So you're still coaching at
Yeah, I
that
do
school?
coach. Yeah, I
No kidding. I
coach. Yeah,
didn't know
my
that.
daughter was a senior this year, so
What?
yeah, and my son is a freshman, and yeah, it's just like you figure out what it takes to win and the discipline and the organization, and you just start teaching it, right, and instilling it in these kids. It took me 4 years to kind of weed out the old system, right, and no offense to the seniors, but I kind of had to graduate their attitudes. I had to graduate their
Yeah.
mindsets and just like focus on the fresh, do what I could with the seniors and the juniors and then but really focus in on the freshmen, like this is the way we do things, this is the way we think, this is the way we act. And it took 4 years to develop a program that was competitive. So
Dang.
yeah, yeah, but now we swept
Crazy.
it. My boys and my girls won the conference title. It was like, and we just trounced everybody too. It wasn't even close, which was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
No shit.
So
You've had some
yeah,
success in business too, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and I think that's why I'm on the call, right? I think in relation to what you do.
yeah.
In college, well, I gotta back way up probably.
Do it.
My parents they kind of like dabbled in Amway when I was
Oh,
a
no
kid.
way.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I knew like the direct sales model or multi-level marketing, like I knew
Sure.
direct sales and network marketing. And my parents weren't successful at it, but like I knew people were,
Hmm.
and like I said, when you learn how to become a national champion, you know what it takes to be the best. And in college, this supplement company came my way, and I was like, oh, it was a direct sales supplement company, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Well, I tried the products. I love the products, and I was kind of I'm a supplement junkie. I've been taking supplements ever since I was a little kid. I think I've been taking vitamins since I could chew,
Yeah.
and I was spending money at GNC, and I'm thinking, okay, well, if I can like sell these products, make enough to pay for my products, well, I mean, that makes sense, right? As a
Sure.
broke college kid. And I was like, I don't have a time for a real job either. I'm going to college full time. I'm running track, right? Like if I could do kind of like an as I go business, right, and start
Yeah.
building this thing out, maybe I can make some money. And so my first year made like $3,500. This is a college kid,
Yep.
like it's something,
Few hundred
right?
bucks a month selling pills, legal
Yep.
pills, right? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And Yeah, got out of college and it was just a fit. I mean, it was in the nutrition industry. It was supplementation. I love the products. I love the company. It was all about becoming a better leader, becoming a better person. I love the culture and the men. And no offense to the ladies, a lot of direct sales is ladies,
Hmm.
or in that industry at least.
Yeah.
But there are some really good men that were leaders in the organization. So I just really took to it. I grew with it, and it was a challenge because I wasn't naturally gifted at it, but it was in my wheelhouse. It was what I love to do, fitness, nutrition,
Sure.
supplementation, right? But
Yeah.
like networking and network marketing wasn't really in my wheelhouse. And so I had to learn it
Yeah.
was and going to a like a from that dynasty wrestling school and a dynasty track school, you're there every day to get better or get pushed out by, the person behind you, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things I learned in direct sales, I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, Derek, the reason you don't have what other people have is because you're not that person yet. You have to become that person, right? And that's the toughest thing to do is look at yourself in the mirror and
Yeah.
say, you don't, you need to
Amen.
speak, you need to speak better. You need to be a better leader,
Yeah.
right? You need to work harder. You need to figure out different ways to meet people. Um, and connect with people and build an organization. And so it was this huge growth period, huge growth period. So I built that company from 2003 when I was a junior in college all the way to 2019.
No kidding.
I think
Really?
yeah, in that industry, they say the average time it takes to reach the top level, I think, is a decade, right?
Okay.
And I was a little bit behind average. I think it took me 12 years to reach the top level in the company. But yeah, built a
No
multi-million
shit.
dollar organization and
Good for you. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Really? How many did you have? Did you like find other people to sell to, or is it all through your distribution?
Yeah.
How'd that work?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the key
You
is
built the team out.
right. Exactly.
1099,
Yeah.
bunch 1099 independent.
Yep. That's
Same
it.
thing we
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, you have to, right. Like I can talk to a few thousand people, right? But like
Sure.
if I could talk to you and you could talk to a few thousand people and I can get an override off of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hello, right?
100%.
Like if I you start learning very quickly, like I can only talk to so many people, right? And if
Yeah.
I want to build
Yep.
an organization, I need team players that can build organizations too, right? And so yeah, you just see who wants to build it, right? And who wants to, take it to a high level and who wants to do it part-time and you come alongside of them and help build them where they're at. And sometimes you have to leapfrog into people you've never met before, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, built a whole organization. But what was interesting is, it was part-time. It was always part-time for me. It was fairly casual at first and then became more serious. But I was taking what I was learning and I was applying it to building my own business, my fitness business. So kind of brick and mortar kettlebell studio. Through that, became a master kettlebell instructor. There's only 15 masters through Strong First.
No
Um,
way.
yeah, in the world. And so
Wow.
yeah, it took time. Like I said, you just figure out what it takes to win. You just keep moving up. But yeah, built that company, and so there was a point where I'm like, okay, I have this fitness business that is going really, really well, and it expanded to other locations, and then I have this supplement business that is running on the side, and I'm thinking, God, like I just honestly, the one thing I needed to get better at was be a better manager, and I was ready to like step into that role. I love the day
Yeah.
to day. I love the grind of being a trainer. I love the grind of
Yeah.
like working with the end customer. And I wasn't ready to kind of be that, that leader, that role model, and just trust other people to basically run my business while kind of essentially employ myself out of a job, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And and so I ended up just selling that business. I owned one of the properties that one of them was on. I sold out of two of them and then finally sold out the last one, but I owned the commercial property that they worked out of. And so became a landlord and just ran the supplement company. And interestingly enough, 5 years later, the supplement company said, "Do not pass go, do not collect $200," and they canned us all. They took everything in house. I couldn't believe it. I was
Isn't that
devastated,
nuts?
devastated, man. It was
Keep all the clients, all that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man,
All
that
my
happens a lot, dude.
it
I
does.
don't know if a lot is the right word, but I hear about it every year someone in some line of multi-level stuff gets whacked. And people have built some
Mhm.
big things. That's tough.
Yeah.
What year was that?
2019.
Got it. And got it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, 2019.
Insane.
So, yeah, it was devastating. Honestly, it shook me to the core because I grew up with the company, you know.
Yeah.
You development and the learning you do about life in your early 20s and 30s. Um, yeah, it kind of sets you up for life, and I've just seen all these legacy companies. You look at the Mary Kays of the Tupperware or Mary Kays of the world and Tupperwares
Yeah.
of the world and the
Yep.
Avons and the Amways. You're like, dude, I'm gonna ride this puppy into the sunset, and it's gonna be tens of millions, right?
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, we got on a conference call, and in 7 minutes, 17 years worth of work was gone.
Damn.
And I had sold, like I said, I sold my fitness
The
business
other
and
side. Yeah.
signed a do not compete with
I can
those
relate to
guys.
that. Yeah.
I was like, so everything I had built to that point was gone. All I had was a commercial property, which I, had a payment on. I'm
Yeah.
taking in rent, but that was like all the income I had. And and let me know if I'm just like going off on a tangent
No,
here. There's
I
lots of
love
stuff we
you.
could talk about.
You could do you, bro. I don't have any
Okay.
rules on this one.
All right.
What up, insurance agents? If you're looking for a roadmap on how to win in this industry, check out the book I wrote about a year ago, Do More Now, Get Better Later. Check out the reviews here somewhere. My team's putting them on. I'm getting tons of great feedback about all the people it's helped. Appreciate those of y'all that have bought it. Appreciate all the reviews that are going out. If you're new to following me or the industry, check out the book and get it in your hands now.
Yeah, totally devastated. And my mom, I have a tough mom. Thank God I have a tough mom. I mean, I went over to her house, in my 30s, like crying, like what in the world just happened to me in my life. And just expecting some kind of consoling from her. And she's like, "Well, put your work boots back on, get back to work."
I love
Literally
it.
what my
I
mom
love it.
told me is, "Suck it up,
No
sucker, back to
excuses.
work." I'm like, "Wow, thanks, mom. Appreciate that."
We got these.
So
I carry these shirts. You ever seen this?
don't be a bitch. Yeah. Awesome. I need one.
I'll send you one. Send
For
me
I
your
need
shirt
one.
size.
I need
Yeah, I
one for
got
my
you.
mom. My mom would wear that. My grandfather was a tough farmer and cowboy and, just didn't take shit and just get back to work. Like, mom, I just lost 17 years worth of work. It's gone. And she didn't care. She's like, get back to work. But I was pretty devastated, and I didn't know. I had to like mourn through that process. I had to like mentally process it through it. And a
Yeah.
hobby of mine that I've been doing since college, I took rock climbing as a one credit class in college, and I had to take something active, a couple one credit classes. So I took rock climbing, and it's always been a hobby of mine, passion of mine, and I threw myself at it because when you're climbing, all you can think about is climbing, right? Like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Don't unfocus here because you can kill yourself. And so for I don't know if I'm ADD. I'm not definitely not diagnosed ADD, but like it's the one thing where my brain could calm down
Yep.
and not focus on my hemorrhaging bank account and just focus on climbing and
Just turn off the noise.
turn off the noise.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess, looking back, it was probably an escape,
Sure.
from reality a little bit. Um I didn't turn to like drugs or alcohol or anything like that, but I turned to like being a dirtbag, and just living out of my car and climbing things. And, my family's over here like, what are we doing? We're just gonna let this dwindle
Nice.
to nothing, or are we gonna like get back after
Yeah.
something, or what? And I've been a big believer my whole life, and I needed to find my passion again, right? I was really kind of stifled, and
Yeah.
my energy, my enthusiasm was like non-existent, and and I believe enthusiasm is key to success. You're an enthusiastic guy. I've seen some of your stuff on social channels,
I
and
appreciate it.
that's critical. It's a
Yeah.
critical component. Enthusiasm comes from the Greek root words en theos, meaning of God,
No
right?
way.
And so yeah,
Did not know this.
yeah. And I just believe that, if you kind of seek after that and you go after that, everything you need to accomplish your mission will be provided for you, right?
Yeah.
And I had lost my enthusiasm, but I was passionate about climbing. And my buddy, maybe if you follow the kettlebell world, you might know who Pavel Tsatsouline is.
I've heard the name. I don't know
Yeah.
him at all, but I've heard him referenced for sure.
Yeah, he's been on Rogan and Huberman podcast. So
No
he's
way. Okay.
yep. He's a dear friend of mine. He knew what happened. He called me up and he's like, Derek, I have this course called All Terrain He goes, I see what you're doing with climbing, and why don't you teach this course for me? And it was like a step, a
Yeah.
door that opened, right? And because I was posting about like what I was doing, I'm climbing these mountains, climbing these hard routes, and so he took notice and said, "All right, you're a master kettlebell instructor. You have this pedigree and background. Clearly, you're climbing. Teach my all-terrain conditioning course." So, I started going around the country teaching this course called all-terrain conditioning, and that's ultimately how you and I got connected here.
Really?
Yeah,
It's like
uh,
outdoor. When you say teaching it, like outside climbing shit, teaching it, or sitting in a gym somewhere teaching it.
in a gym, actually,
Okay.
it's a philosophy behind strength and conditioning in a gym for outdoor pursuits.
Got it. Okay.
Yep, outdoor adventures, whether you want to climb, hunt, mountaineer, ski,
Got it.
just be outdoor active,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And there's a kind of a new methodology behind it, and you're learning some of that A+A, and we can get into that. I don't know
Hell yeah.
where
I
you want to
like it,
go with
dude.
this, if we want to talk about business or A+A, but
Yeah.
a strength coach from Australia took my course, and he said, Derek, I have this athlete. She's going for a world record on Aconcagua. It's the tallest mountain in the Americas. She wants to do a speed ascent of it. Normal expeditions take 2 weeks to go to the top and come off. In 48 hours, she's going to go from one gate to the top to the other gate and then connect the two gates on the road in under 4 hours.
What?
Yeah,
How many miles
wild,
is
right?
that? And like
It's
elevation and all
it's
that
about
stuff. Give me some.
about 100 kilometers, so it's over 60 miles. And let's see here, we start at about 8,000, and we would go to about 23,000,
What?
and then back down to eight and connect. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, my knees
Altitude.
hurt thinking about going down.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, I mean 29029 is, you're 29,000 feet of vert, but you're going from, maybe 4,000 to 8,000, back down to 4,000, up to
Correct.
8,000,
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
down to
Yeah.
4,000. I mean, this is like less and less oxygen
Straight
as you go.
elevation. Yeah.
Dude, life gets slow after 14,000, that's for sure.
Man.
So I started training her, and 29029 reached out to her and said, "Hey, we see what you're posting on Instagram. Would you like to be a coach? We're looking for coaches."
No way.
She's like,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
but you need to meet my coach." And so here I am with 29029 and meeting you and on this
No
podcast. And
shit.
yeah, that's how life
When
works.
was when did
Things
that
work out.
happen?
Um,
Roughly.
well, let's see here. I was on Aconcagua with her in 2022.
Okay.
So I would say it was sometime after
A couple years ago.
2022. Yeah, a couple years
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
Interesting. How many
Yeah.
how many 29 events have you done?
Ooh. Um a few.
Officially. I
Yeah,
know you're out
yeah.
there helping people sometimes, but like officially
Oh,
done them.
oh, honestly, just as a coach,
Okay.
I
You've
get
never done
about
it just
two
as a
thirds.
competitor, if you will.
No, no,
Got it.
and
Okay.
I kind of need to. I'd really like to. Uh, yeah, as a
You
coach,
should.
I probably get 2/3 to 3/4 of the event in as a
Yeah.
coach,
Yeah.
just hiking up and down. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've wanted to. I've like, hey, can the coaches just like go and do it? And they're like, no, we really don't want you
Oh, it's a
to.
thing. Got it. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I just have to sign up for one as a client. So
Yeah.
just like a normal client. I can't do it while I'm coaching, right?
Got it.
So
Makes sense.
yeah.
Which ones are you
Yeah.
at this year coming up?
Yeah,
Or which
this
ones are you not
year.
at? Whichever one's
Yeah,
easier.
yeah. Yeah. I'm going to Jackson Hole next week, and then I do Aspen,
Okay.
I do Aspen, I do Stratton, um I'm doing Snow Basin, and then I'm gonna probably go out to Mont Tremblant as well. I have a lot of
Most of them.
athletes. Yeah.
Okay. Just not
Yep.
Whistler.
Yeah, last year Whistler
And
I
not
can't.
trail,
I
right?
actually have, yeah, not trail.
Okay.
I actually teach an all-terrain conditioning course in Bozeman over Whistler, so
Well,
that's why
yeah.
I can't go to that one. So yeah.
I'll see you in Aspen. I'll be the last one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
should be
for sure.
hot
You're
ready
gonna
by
be
then.
ready to go. You're gonna be ready to go.
Great. I'm ready now, bro. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
ready. I
Yeah.
am ready. It feels a lot like have you done 75 hard officially before or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
And you can probably relate something else to it. It's just obviously a 75-day of
Hmm.
chaos.
Hmm.
And at the beginning, it's hard as shit. In the middle, it gets kind of, I won't say easy, but you know what you're doing. You know what to expect every day and kind of it's just go get through the day. But then
Yeah.
like the last 2 weeks is brutal because you're like, I got it, but I can't slip up. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like you're
Yeah.
afraid to kind of like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
kind of feel the same right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm in really good conditioning shape. I feel great. And I'm like,
Hmm.
God,
Hmm.
this 2 weeks can't come fast enough. But
Hmm.
now I'm just like mentally powering through it. Even when I don't
Yeah.
want, there are some days I don't want to do this shit. Those step ups, dude, are
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, hey, it is what it is. Today's
Yeah.
officially a 3 hour step up day. And I'm like, oh
3 hours
boy.
of step ups. Yeah. Yeah. You put on a podcast like this and you just go.
Yeah.
Right. It's mental training as much as it is physical, right? There's a
Mostly.
physical aspect to it, but like you gotta know like there's gonna be parts on the mountain too where you're just like, I'm just in the grind zone, right?
Yeah.
Like it's more of the same. 29029, you do, I mean, let's say you do Jackson Hole, it's 19 laps of the same mountain. I'll guarantee you from 5 to 15, you're like
It's
just in that
brutal. Yeah.
grind. And so 3 hours of step ups,
It's
I
like
put
that.
put myself in the cave, put my head down, just go. And I do a lot of visualization. Sometimes I listen to a podcast,
Do you?
but a lot of just mental visualization. I think that's another key to success is visualizing yourself doing it,
Yeah.
visualizing the pain, visualizing the weather and the heat and
Yeah.
the suffering. That way, when it happens, you're like, yep, this is what I expected.
Expected this.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's different too, inside versus outside. I'm on the mountain, dude. I can like the Kennesaw Mountain by me. I just
Mhm.
go. Now I'm in
Yeah.
like a whole nother world, and it just I zone out, and I put it in like 3 hour chunks, and I just go. But inside, dude, it's a different game.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know if that's for everybody, but I'd rather climb the mountain for 8 hours than do step ups for
Oh,
3.
100%. 100%. And that's why I do it. I think I took that early on from a CrossFit guy. He used to lock himself in a closet and jump on the rowing machine and row inside a closet.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's pretty mental. I like it. Why not?
Insane.
Why not? Let's take this to step ups,
That's
you know?
crazy,
And so
dude.
it's so true though. And I mean, there's so many things to talk about, John. And
Yeah.
like I said, stop me and we can camp out on one topic for a while. But I climbed Denali and I had one of the hardest experiences of my life on Denali in Alaska. Um, it was, generally your group should take 14 days if you just crush it, 14 days, max of 21, like absolute max of 21. You only pack food for 21 days. We were out there for 24. I attribute like a lot of the mental toughness of just being in the pain cave doing step ups to success on that mountain, right?
That's
So,
bananas, dude.
yeah.
I always try to tell people, like, a lot of people, the average person watches me and they're like, you're an animal. And I'm like, I mean, I see what you mean. But when I get in the arena with all the other crazy people,
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't feel like I'm doing that much.
Yeah.
you know, I'm
Yeah.
like in the little leagues compared to what some of you guys do. And
That's, yeah.
it's inspiring to see like how far people push themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's forever. I feel like that's forever. I have a buddy. I just did Rainier with a buddy who skis off of Rainier, and he wants to ski off of Denali, and I think he's like this world class skier, and he's like, nah, there's so many better skiers out there than me, and I was like, you just skied a line that a guy died on a week later, and you don't
Damn.
think you're a world class skier, and so that yeah, I'm not sure when that ends, John. To
Yeah.
be honest, like I think we
Shit.
always feel like
So
that.
I'm in trouble.
There's always someone that's leveling up, and that's a good thing. I think we're here to grow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and get
Yeah.
better.
What do you see? What are the relations to business for you? I mean, obviously they're very similar, but obviously I focus on growing a team and I've sold a bunch of insurance, sure, but my goal was to build the team.
Yeah.
And in today's world, again, I spend some of my time teaching people how to sell insurance, but I enjoy working more so with the people who want to build something. And it's always funny seeing the different personality types that come in and verbally they say, I want to achieve ABC. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of being this.
Hmm.
But there's only a few, man, that like do what it takes day in and
Yeah.
day out.
Yeah.
And I'm curious just your thoughts on it, man. Seeing as many people as you've seen, and kind of the winning, getting into losing thing. You know what I mean? Just cover
Yeah,
it
yeah.
in general. Just I don't know. I'm learning the relation. To me,
Hmm.
I've applied what I learned in business to fitness.
Hmm.
Funny enough, I feel like I did it backwards from a lot of people.
Hmm.
Where you learn fitness and applied it to
Yeah.
business.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I was broke and I was disgustingly out of shape. So,
He's just like, I gotta change. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for me, both times, business and physical were both in a snap decision. Both of
Hmm.
them for me. It was like, fuck it, I'm done. I just have to do something about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't see that a lot from people. I see
Hmm.
this very like slow, incremental, and they, I don't know.
I think as human beings, we always will do what we have to do, right? And that's part of the trick is forcing yourself to be at a point where like I have to change, no matter what level that is. I think there's a financial thermostat. You've probably heard of that, right? Everybody has their financial thermostat,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I hear my
Yeah.
let talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
You ever hear my let talk about the thermostat thing?
No.
I'm gonna send you a clip. Remind me. I'll send you. He has a dope analogy with it. It's not necessarily
Okay.
financial. It's overall, but it's a
Yeah.
super good analogy. But yes,
Growth mindset. Yeah, win's good enough. Like it's 70 in the room right now. If I, you know, open the door and it's cold outside, it's going to get cold in here for a second, but then the heater's going to kick on and bring it back to 70. If I
yeah,
open the door and it's hot outside, well, the air conditioning is going to kick on and bring it back down to 70. And that's where we're at. And so it's always a matter of like leveling up our thermostat if we want to take it to the next level. But some people just get to the point where like I'm just so effing sick of it being cold in the room, like I'm going to make it hot,
yeah,
and I think I actually learned this from my dad watching a national championship of mine. I'm going to take you way back. So
yeah.
in high school, I trained so hard. All I wanted to be was a state champion, right? And that's what we strove for at our school in wrestling. I took second in the state in wrestling.
Okay.
And I actually tore my ACL the week of wrestling, and I went to state with a torn ACL,
Dang.
and I took second, And so the doctor was so amazed. He's like, "Do you want to try and run track on it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to try to run track on it." And so I ended up at the sectional championships. I beat the state record in track and field. I was ranked first by like 2 seconds. Like I was very good at track and field. And my junior year, I had hit the last hurdle and I took second by 0.06 seconds. So now here I have a second in track and field, and I have a second in wrestling in the
Yeah.
state. But now I'm a senior. I'm going to destroy the state record, be a state champion. And I think I had a fear of success. I came up on the last hurdle, and I remember this kind of wave of emotion coming over me, and almost this fear of like it's really happening. And I hit the last hurdle, tripped and fell, and took sixth.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro.
Hmm. Yeah. And
What do you mean by the fear, though? Like that sounds like some people would
yeah.
go, oops,
Hmm.
mistake. But why do you
Yeah.
think fear played in that?
Mm. I think I put so much of like my just like who I was as a person into it. Like, I am a track athlete. This is what I do.
Hmm.
I am an athlete. I'm going to be a state champion that, I just built my whole life upon it. And then when it's all of a sudden there, it's right in front of you and all you have to do is walk through the door, you stumble, right? Just like get this like the nervous like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this can't be happening to me. I'm not good enough, right? Right, or I'm not worthy
And your body
of
found a way
to shut
make
you
that
down.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I just remember this just nervous, like, oh, came over me and I kind of like short stepped to the last hurdle, tripped and fell. And then it was like all of a sudden it happened 2 years in a row. Like I hit the last hurdle my junior year and then I tripped and fell my senior year. Took that right into college. I was in the national championships as a freshman, qualified for NCAAs, and I'm running right there with the national champion. Guess what? Last hurdle, I
Shut
sky
up,
it. The whole
dude.
field passes me, and I didn't even make finals. And then my sophomore year, I'm ranked first in the nation. And in trials, I skied the last hurdle and I barely made finals. It was like I made finals by like point 0.5 or something like that. I remember my coach coming up to me and he's like, dude, what is your problem? Like, I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, get out of the way, right? Like you've trained your body to do this for so long. Like just go out there and let it happen, right? And so of course I get out there, take that advice, just like, okay, you know what? I've trained to do this. I just have to let my body perform to what it's capable of being, kind of get my mind out of the way and just let it happen. And I won my first national championship. But I watched the video and my dad, he's in the stands and he's cheering the whole way. Man, this still makes me choke up to this day a little bit. This is like 20 years ago. I come around and he's like yelling the whole way, but I get to like hurdle 9 and he starts yelling, "You've got to want it. You've got to want it. You've got to want it." And in a stands of like thousands of people, you can hear him over the crowd and people are turning around like, "What is this crazy guy?" You've got to want it. You've got to want it. And the camera's shaking and I get over the last hurdle and win the national championship and everybody's going bonkers, right? It's crazy.
Sick.
And that video sticks in my mind to this day. We're talking about financial thermostat.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, John, you've got to want it. You've got to want it. And if you want it bad enough, you will figure out what it takes to get there,
Yeah.
who you need to
Yeah.
be, what you need to read, who you need to become, how many people you need to talk to. And some people have that and some people don't. And I think if you're listening to this, you know, sometimes you've gone to all the seminars. You've listened to everything. You've trained your body, you've trained your mind to do it. You just got to want it and go do it and get out of the way and let your body perform to what it's capable of doing.
Yeah.
Go talk to people, trust your instinct, talk to them like a normal human being. You'll be fine,
Yeah.
and just keep going. And if you want it bad enough, it will eventually happen. You just keep working at it and
Yeah.
keep improving. So yeah, I think maybe that's a long answer to a
I like it. When you
short
say
short
some
question.
people have it and some don't, dive into
Mhm.
that. I'm curious what you mean by that.
Yeah, I think some people have given into that mindset that I felt in high
Mhm.
school where like you come up on your goals and dreams and aspirations and like what it takes and you're just like, "Oh, that's not for me, that's for other people."
Yeah.
You know, that's not for me, and it holds you back and you self-sabotage.
100%.
You start doing
I've done
things
it.
that yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've definitely done that a lot. That's why I'm always like, I don't know. I wonder, can people, I feel like I change. I don't know that I always, I can always see, I can look back and see like glimpses, if I look backwards, be like, ooh, I kind of had it there. Well, nope, not long. Oop, I only had it for 12 minutes there, So I don't know if I just,
Yeah.
some people are like, he's just different, but I don't know. I don't feel that way. I feel like I made myself change. I had to change.
That's it.
And I still, dude, I'm extremely uncomfortable with what I'm doing now. I can't
Oh yeah.
even wrap my head around,
Yeah.
because again, I live 6 miles from the mountain. There's not a lot of mountains locally here. And so everybody knows the mountain here local. And when I did that 12-hour day that you had me do last month,
Yeah. Yeah.
I went into it not really knowing what to expect, because I ain't never, what I mean, done that mountain that long. And I was like trying to math it out in my head. And I'm like, dude, I should smash a marathon distance in my
Yeah.
head. And I
Yeah.
was like, basic math, I was like, dude, if I don't stop, there's a chance I could sniff 40 miles. And coming out of my mouth, it sounds weird.
Yeah.
And I got 12 hours. I was at like, I think I was at 35. But the way I did the route, because I was just making it up, I was like 2 miles from my car still. So I was forced to go at least 2 more miles. So then I was at 37 with like, 12 and a half miles in. I'm like, there's no way I'm stopping before 40 now. So I did like 13 and a half hours that day just to get to
Yeah.
40.
That's
When
wild.
Steph brings it up, most people are like, wait, like 40?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just kind of went, it
Uh,
was just a day. To me, it was just a long work day.
yeah.
It's kind of mentally where I went with it. And I did 3 hour chunks of time. And I'm like, if this were a work day, 12 hours flies by,
That's right. That's right.
you know? But I still, when I say it, and I wrote it on my whiteboard, I think I've showed you the whiteboard in the gym at the house, and I
Hmm.
write down all my times, my records and stuff.
Hmm.
And so I got that 40 miles on there. And,
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. That was a hell of an accomplishment. Seriously. But I think you're getting at something is that the mind is built just like the body. You know,
Yeah,
we wouldn't walk into the gym and expect to deadlift 500 pounds tomorrow if you haven't been training, right? But
sure.
we can build there slowly over time with the right program, right?
Yeah.
And the right mindset and the belief that you can do it. And just keep talking yourself into it. And you get these little wins. You have to get these little wins, right? Could you imagine if you hadn't done even a 29:29 in the past, and you haven't kind of gone down
Sure.
this road of CrossFit and all this stuff, and I said, "All right, John, we're going to go 12 hours," and you're going to be like, get to like, and you're like, what the hell are we doing? There's no way, and you barely get 20 miles maybe,
Yeah.
after 12 hours, and you're like, that was good enough, but because you've had these like micro successes. You win here, you
Hmm.
win here, you win here. You start to build that positive, like I can do anything mindset if I just put my mind and my effort to it, right?
Yeah.
And then, even the big audacious dreams, like you speak it, and then you're like, well, maybe I believe that, and then you start going along the train, and the more you speak it, and then the more you believe it, and then the more you believe it, and then it's just inevitable. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, and that kind of becomes one of my favorite sayings is like, you already have it. It's just a matter of time. I tell
Sure.
myself that all the time. Like when I'm hiking mountains
Yeah.
like Derek, you're already there. It's just a matter of time. You're already eating pizza, having a beer back
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
at the
Picturing
ground.
it.
It's
Sure.
just a matter of time. Or like, cause you're not going to quit, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to quit.
Hey guys, just created something really cool. And if you want to be part of it, join the Discord group I just created. The link is going to be in here. It's a dope environment. You can chat with others that are kind of in the community. You can see behind the curtain of our agency, have access to all kinds of stuff that we got going on, events, and my staff is in there. We have agents in there selling, me helping agents and sharing information. We're going to, as we build this thing out, share everything out there with all of you guys. So again, follow the Discord if you want to be part of everything we got going on. Join it now. We'll see you in there. Hope to help you more. I picture like the going home and having to explain that I didn't do what I said I'm going to do, and that makes me not stop. I
Yeah.
like actually visualize the negative side when I'm because dude, I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, when I'm out there, I
Hmm.
want to stop some days,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like, and I got to explain to people I stopped, and I got to go to bed thinking about it. Like that's what happened with Whistler last year. I stopped, and I should not have stopped. I definitely physically could have finished that. Mentally,
Yeah.
dude, I got punched in the face.
Yeah.
And it's been a 12, well, now I'm at whatever it is, eight, what am I at, 10 months since last year. It's
Yeah.
been a 10-month grind mentally of like, nah, F you. I'm getting this one.
And that's the mentality where I say some people have it and some people don't. It, and maybe we can get people to change, through podcasts like this and
Yeah.
encouragement. But it's just that like when something bad happens, what is the story you tell yourself?
Hmm.
What is the story? Do you overcome that, or does it turn
Yeah.
you around and shut you down and be like, well, this just isn't for me. It's for
Yeah.
somebody else, and you turn towards something else. And I heard a good analogy one time. I'm from Wisconsin, so we have snow, right? And
Mhm.
and and I think you can picture this if you've ever sledded down a fresh powder hill. You
Yeah.
kind of got to push your sled through the
Yep.
fresh snow,
Yep.
right? And then all of a sudden, you've built that track, and now the more compressed that track is, the faster your sled goes down that track. That's like the neural pathways in your brain of what you're
Mm.
of what you're telling
That's
yourself.
good.
And so if you've from a little kid on, if you've lost at something, and you're like, oh, that's just not for me. Guess what? You just skied down that hill. You just made a track, and you keep
Yeah.
doing that as an adult. It
I
becomes
like it.
faster and faster and faster to just turn down that track. You have to build a new track, and that's the hardest thing to do. You got to get your freaking sled back out and push down and
Yeah.
build a new track. Oh, that's not me. That's my old self. My new self is over here, and you have to build those little successes, right? And
Yeah.
I've kind of learned that through repetitions, right? Like you, you know, we never want to practice bad form, because then what are you teaching yourself? Bad muscle
Bad
memory
form.
of bad
Yep.
form. Exactly. So you always want to do good reps. And I tell my kids, do good reps in your head. Don't poop in your head.
Yeah.
Don't
That's
take a
a good
poop in
point.
your head. Do good reps in your head. Like, what are you telling yourself right now? And I'll get them to stop and think. And
Yeah.
I do that to myself too, but it gets them to stop and think, like, what am I thinking
It's true.
about myself right now? Where's my positivity at right now?
Yeah.
There's my
It's
belief
funny you
at.
say with the kids. I Maddox is my 13-year-old. That a ton of I share his stuff all the time, obviously. If you follow me on social. He had we were in Destin, Florida this week for a little baseball and to see last baseball tournament of 13U for him. And last year we did Cooperstown. And he hit his first home run ever at Cooperstown last year. He hit two actually. And he gets on base a lot. He's consistent as shit, but he's not a power hitter. He's tall and lanky, and the power thing hasn't come for him yet. He's getting there. He has little spurts of it, but not consistent power. But he's consistent on base. Um, and so last year we were talking him up, trying to get him there. Long story short, this year we're at the the tournament in Florida, and we get to the championship game in his bracket. In his, I think it was his first at bat. He teams there. It's a close game, back and forth kind of game. He gets up and kid doesn't strike out a lot. He walks. He has three times the walks of anybody on the team, and a fair amount of hits. I mean, he's a good player, but doesn't strike out a ton. But when he does, he strikes out looking, and it drives me insane. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, you've got to stop striking out looking, dude. I don't care that you strike out swinging. So of course he gets up there, two strikes, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bro, just swing. And he watches one go. They pitch him inside, goes right by him. He slams his bat, goes in the dugout. I'm like, bro, what do you, dude? It's two strikes, championship game. Like, you got to swing. They talk about two strike approach and all this stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, and I don't talk to him a lot at games. I try to be quiet because he gets in his head a little if I do. So I just sort of let him be. And he's like, I can't hit the inside pitch. I'm like, dude, you're certainly not going to hit it if you think that and then don't swing also. Like, you got two bad things against you. The thought is terrible and you don't swing at it. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
so next time around the lineup, we get up and it's like, it's tie game in the like fourth inning. It's like, it's a time game. They do like an hour and 45 minutes or whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he gets up, one dude on, the biggest, strongest kid on the team gets a double. Maddox is up. And again, I usually don't say anything to him, but I'm like, yo, will you please be aggressive up there? Yeah, like you've hit a home run before.
Yeah.
Go hit the ball. And he's like ignoring me. He's like, go away, dad, basically.
Mhm.
But kid gets up there, dude, two strikes, man, and he tore one. It hit the
Yeah.
park was
Yeah.
300 feet.
Thank
So he
God.
tore one
Yeah.
over the right fielder's head, hits the fence, doesn't go out, but he hits the fence, gets a double, knocks in the winning run, and they win the
Yeah.
championship. It wasn't a walk off, but they scored two more runs after that and sealed it. I think they won 9-6.
Mhm.
And just the power of the belief for in just you can instill in people in that moment what can happen. And
Cha-ching. Yep.
it's like, and he hit a bomb, and everyone
Yep.
was like, holy shit, Maddox hit
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And again, he's a regular hitter, but they hit a bomb over the right fielder's fence. He doesn't believe he
Yep.
can, and crazy enough, sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah. One in the bucket. Thank God. Honestly, thank God what happened. One in the bucket of like, oh, that is how it works. This
Yeah.
this can happen.
Hmm.
And that's what I wonder sometimes about talking about people. Some people who have it, some people who don't. Is the kid who struck out again in that situation
Yeah.
and goes back to the dugout,
Yeah.
and are they reinforcing in their head? Yep, I was right.
See, I told you. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. And then
100%.
that transfers to all sales and
Yeah.
marketing and building a team. And it's like, no, like you can do it. And that's the thing. We look at ourselves as like average guys, right?
Yep.
I was
Sure.
not a good athlete. I think my freshman year of wrestling, I was 9 wins and 16 losses, and five of my 9 wins were forfeits. I was 4-16.
Wow.
4-16. I took it from that to second in the state with a torn ACL, right? And yeah, I don't know. With track and field, it was the same, but you start to like think of all of the little intricacies, right? All the little details it takes, and I'm like, okay, I'm not the fastest guy in the world. Like, if I ran the
Yeah.
400-meter hurdles.
Yeah.
Get this, John. I never qualified for nationals in the open 400-meter dash. Didn't even
Dang.
qualify for the national meet. I ran at the Olympic trials in the 400-meter hurdles because I became a master at running my race over hurdles. I really don't think there was anybody better. And I can
That's
honestly say
badass.
that because I didn't qualify. I wasn't even close to qualifying in the open 400,
Yeah.
you know? And so I had to be better in so many other ways. that you learn how to be good and you learn how to be like take the things that people don't even think there's a competition in and you turn it into a competition. You
Yeah.
know,
See, I like this.
you're not even thinking about playing on this level,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm thinking about. Like I'm counting my steps walking to class.
Hmm.
Why? Because you're just running the race and I'm counting my steps to every hurdle, right? I'm thinking about walking downstairs with my feet dorsiflex. Why? Because plantar flexing your foot is a braking action. It slows you down. And every time you walk downstairs, you plantar flex your foot. I'm not going to plantar flex. I'm going to walk down the stairs like a duck, dorsiflexing. Everybody's like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, winning national championships. You
Yeah.
know, they're like,
Isn't it
walking
crazy?
down the stairs into the locker room, you're freaking crazy. Well, three national titles later and, Olympic trials, like that's the level I took it to. And I think of myself as just an average guy who became above average by like mastering the basics and taking a competition to a level that nobody took it to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when you start to get that teaching mentality where you look at any average person and you're like, I was you. I was you. I was fat and I was out of shape and I had no money in my
Yeah.
bank account.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I look at you and I see talent, I see potential. You
Yeah.
can do it. But they ski down the wrong hill, you
Sure.
know? And it's like, and how do we get them to start skiing down the right hill to say, whatever it takes, I'm going to do the diligent things and the steps and become that person that I'm currently
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. I see a lot of people like think it's something else than what it really is, causing the lack of success, you know? And I don't know if this is true, but as I give a lot of analogies for insurance,
Yeah.
I'm trying to make examples for the running thing I'm going through. Which, by the way, I didn't tell you yet. Dude, I got a sub 30 5K this morning.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But I
It's
ain't done that
crazy.
since I was 28.
Yes,
So,
dude, I'm so pumped.
yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
pumped. Your
So
training is,
it was 29.
yep.
Like, I beat about like 20 seconds or something.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I was excited
Awesome.
about that. But I see a lot of people think it's something else, and I always give like when I wrote the book, I gotta send you a book. Did my team get all your stuff, your info?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
send you the shit
Yeah.
in the book. But I wrote this book called "Do More Now, Get Better Later." Right,
Okay.
and do more. There's an acronym to it. It means certain things like discipline and ownership, and there's a whole thing. I'll get to it in a second. But I have this thought like what I was always trying to like find the magic pill that would get me really good at sales. And I made a decision one year, 10 years ago now. And I was like, what if I just accept who I am as a salesperson and just do more of it and just worry about all the other stuff later? And it was a turning moment for me, right? And I decided to start out working people and doing more reps and not worry about all the what do you say here and what happens in this scenario and what kind of voice should I have and what should I say on the script and all the stuff.
Mhm.
And I try to use the same example here going through this journey of fitness. And I'm like, I don't know shit about fitness or running. I just move a lot. My method was do a lot of mileage on the mountain, and I'll worry about the shoes and the shorts and what poles to wear. I don't know anything about that stuff, really.
Mhm.
But I'm learning it now that I've been on the mountain a bunch and I go through these mistakes and you sweat so much your feet start sliding in the shoes because they're soaking wet. Dude, I didn't know that was a thing, or hey, I buy the wrong shoes and you find like the ones with a little hole in the bottom, the ons and the rocks and the acorns get stuck in them,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the right shirt. Yeah, but I wonder, and I always say, so this is kind of a question like when I give the analogies from insurance to that, I'm like, a lot of people go out there and they try to buy all the gear before they even start training.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I wonder if I'm accurate in that, you
Oh,
know?
abs, dude, for sure. That happens in mountaineering all the time because
Yeah.
mountaineering is cool. You got to get the boots and the crampons and the axe and
Yeah.
the bag and the new puffy coats and the Gore-Tex this and that and forever and then the rope and the harness and belay device and it's all this stuff. It's like, dude, how many step ups did you do? Because you're gonna have all this awesome fancy shit on and you're gonna
Yeah.
die getting to base camp.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like get in the corner, look at the wall, and do step ups on a box, back on go. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And all that other stuff you'll learn.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
That's how ours is dials. Like people are, I didn't have the right this or the right that. And I'm like, how many phone calls did you make? They're like, well, you know,
Five.
man. And
Yeah.
what I learned
Practice,
about it
dude.
too, that's
Yeah.
coming true also. So the concept of the book was like a decision. I'm going to do more now and I'm going to worry about getting better later. But I
Mm-hmm.
also learned it's kind of an equation too. Like because I did more, I also got better.
Yep.
And that's happened in running, dude. Like this,
Yep.
I've always been like,
100%.
I'm not a runner. I'm a big guy. I'm heavy. I was like 230 last year when I did Whistler.
Wow.
And people look at me and they're like, dude, everyone thought I was in amazing shape. Right. Again, I was a little bit bigger guy, but I wasn't a fat 230. And, I don't consider myself a runner at all. I've never run in my life, really. The most I ever did in my life, I did two 5Ks in my 20s.
Now
And
I have you doing a 5K a day, by the way.
yeah,
Listeners, he's
yeah,
doing a
seriously.
5K a day every day.
Yeah. Plus all
Yeah.
the hell, 5 day a day, 5K a day, my ass.
Well,
That's the
plus
getting started of the day.
that's the warm up for the day. Your
Shit.
first 30 minutes is going to be a 5K.
Yeah. The 5K sandwich. I've been making people do that, bro. And now
Yeah.
my little community, I have like this Discord community where people follow, and I have a fitness section. And so every
Good.
day I'm posting my stuff, and now more people are coming in and I'm pushing people to be well-rounded, not only in business, but in health too. Cause
Mm.
it's helped me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dude, I was down. So not only did I do the fastest 5K today, but I'm down to 207
Awesome.
and muscle staying. I'm like
Yeah.
13 something. I think I've cracked. I haven't, last time I went to the doctor, I was like 14.2 body fat. And when I started with you, dude, I was
Yeah.
at 21.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not
Just
focused on weight loss either.
no, I've not at
So we're
all. I'm
just,
just trying
yeah.
to be healthy.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
I'm learning
Performance.
to fuel myself for the work I'm doing and the
Hmm.
rest and recovery. This whole game, dude, is wild. But
Yep.
I'm kind of loving it.
I
And
think it pairs into what you're saying in a way, right? Like do
yeah,
the stuff and by doing more, you're going to learn a lot of things and you're going to learn
yeah,
how to be better. A lot of people in the fitness industry, and I stopped coaching people when they come to me and they're like, I want to lose 20 pounds for my wedding or whatever. I'm like, wrong trainer, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, I want to train you for performance. If
yeah,
I make you more enduring, if I make you stronger, if I make you more powerful, right? And then you're going to start to be like, what do I do with this new body? Do I just live in the gym and, I'm in better shape to do better at the gym? Like, no, you're going
yeah,
to start
yeah.
exploring the
To live.
outdoors and then you're going to have this awesome adventure and you're like, I want more of that.
Yeah,
How do I get more of that? Well, I got to come in the gym and train more. And then you start to learn these pieces of nutrition and
sure.
you learn the nuances of movement and you get better simply by doing more step ups, 5K a day,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
and don't, we didn't start at a 5K a day. We started with a mile a day, right?
Dude, I didn't even start
Mile a
there
day.
at the beginning, I don't
No,
think.
we didn't. No, we didn't. I
Yeah,
started you a mile a day a couple months. I think you were 2 months in, and I was like, okay, mile a day, John, and then 2 miles a day, and then okay, 5K a day,
yeah.
and yeah,
I remember. I
and,
think
and
the
then
first time
another.
I did a mile with you was 15 minutes, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then
I can
also,
almost crack 9. I'm so close to cracking 9 minutes. I'm not there yet.
yeah,
I haven't
it'll
sprinted a
happen.
mile yet though. I haven't done only a single mile in
Mm,
since before you had me doing the mile a day. And
yeah,
then I was just pacing it, So
right, right.
I need to go out there and run a mile. I think I can
Yeah.
get a
Well,
nice
we
ass
can
time.
re-break back down, and I think that's a part of a training. And maybe you can relate it to businesses, like intentionally taking an off season or a step down, right? Like we think it's just this ladder
Yeah.
to success. And of course, we know there's ups and downs, but we want the general trend to be up, 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 constantly up. What about taking an intentional down,
Yeah.
right? To regroup, refocus, maybe change something in the way you're doing business or life, right?
Yeah.
Um, like once we hit this peak, it's like, okay, let's re back down. Let's go back. We're not going to go to 5 miles a day and now it's
Yeah.
10 a
No.
day and eventually
Yeah.
it's a marathon a day. Like, dude, you're just going to wear yourself into a hole. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe in business, it's like, you know what? Take a month off and go climb Aconcagua in South America. Just get
Sure.
away, right? Take a sabbatical and figure something out. Maybe you're going to come back with like a totally different, like, aha moment that
Yeah.
changes this turning point in your business, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's maybe for people, that have already built a big business, they've
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
they've
For sure.
they've done more
Yeah.
work, they've learned more, they've gotten it to a certain level, and it's like, okay, what's next? You
Yeah.
know, let your brain relax for a second, right?
I struggle with that.
Not every athlete's in season, right? NFL has an
Yeah.
off season, NBA has an
Yeah.
off season, but sometimes in business it's like in season all the time,
True.
right? Like, yeah, dude,
Yeah.
take a,
I struggle with that on both sides.
yeah,
Yeah, I do.
yeah,
Sometimes I have to catch myself a lot.
yeah,
It's a neat learning lesson.
that's
How
cool.
do you, I'm curious on the team building side, in a sense, in business, and also in your coaching side, kind of, if I'm sure they're related, but like one of the things I teach my guys is really being intentional with who they choose to work with
Mm.
versus a mistake, especially in the insurance space. It's probably in your former space, the MLM multi-level thing too, that like anyone that breathes is welcome. I mean, if you can fog a mirror, come on over.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
insurance space is like
just
that a
warm
lot.
bodies. Yeah.
And I'm very counter to that. I refused. I don't like that way. I like everyone we talk to. We had someone get mad, frustrated with one of my managers this weekend because he's like, "Hey, I want to work with you. Get me started." And they were like, "Well, let's set up a call to make sure you're a good fit." And he lost his mind because we asked to have a conversation first to make sure he was a good fit for us.
Hmm.
He's like, "What do you mean if I'm a fit?" And he put it in quotes and
Yeah,
all these
yeah,
things. And I'm like,
yeah,
"Dude, we don't know you." So
yeah.
I've learned in business to have like things I look for and set right expectations and all this stuff. I assume you dealt with that in the business side, but I assume you don't take, you just said you don't take people coming to lose weight with you, but what are the things you're looking for in that process of like, who do you want to put your time, energy, and effort into, whether business or
Yeah.
coaching?
I I think we used to call them, like, so you have your MVPs, your most
Yeah,
valuable players,
sure.
and then you have your like VDPs, your very dependable people, and then you you have your VDPs, your very drainable people.
I like that one. Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah, yeah, and you can spend a whole lot of time and get nothing produced out of that,
Yeah,
right? And so, and this is the balance. Like with your book, it's like I just want to do more work. I got to get people, and and you are, and you're learning through that, and
yeah,
then through that process, you're like, okay, now let's become a. I used, and I don't know if it's right or wrong. I used to tell myself I want to become a sniper. Now I want
yeah,
to,
yeah.
yeah, I
Yep,
stop shooting this shotgun,
yep,
and I want to become a sniper, and just like, okay, who is this key player? And um you find similarities. I think that the first natural tendency is to find people with similarities. Like, okay, I know what the successful person does and looks like and how they act, and I'm gonna like get that person, and I'm gonna spend a ton of time with that person, work that person. But then sometimes you find yourself surrounded with a bunch of the same people,
yeah,
and you're like, oh crap, we have no one that's good at this.
yep.
And so one
It's
of the
true.
things that happened to me later on in business is I started to realize, like, what am I really gifted at? What am I really good at? Standing in that and saying, okay, this person over here, I know I'm not good at this, and I sometimes I try to do that. I'm just not good at it.
Yep,
I need to find that uber successful person with the key success traits, but that they're really good at that.
different thing,
And
different
so I
than
don't
you.
have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do it anymore. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then they're going to be a part of my team. And we're going to like create this winning team of like maybe up to 12 people tops that each have their own strengths. And when we get together, we're just like this unstoppable force, right?
Yeah.
Because we all have the key success traits, the overall kind of like umbrella, I guess even base level success traits, but then everybody has their key strength, and then when someone walks into the room, they're going to find that person they relate to and like, this is awesome. I want to be a part
Yeah.
of this organization.
What are some things that you look for that make you go like, nah, they ain't a fit? They say they want it, they do, they sound good, they, you know what I mean? All that deal. What are some, how do you identify the ones that just you pass on in life?
Well, that's a tough question. Because again, you want to believe in everybody. I think that's my first natural tendency is
Yep.
to believe in everybody. And I think my life and my organization is, you kind of got to prove to me that you're not, you know, through your actions.
Hmm.
and over and over and through your coachability.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're just not coachable, like if you always got an excuse for everything or always got like if
Mhm.
I say something and you're like, yeah, but this and this, and I'm like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
I struggled with that this year actually on my track team. I had a kid, he's super talented and I wish him the best of luck. But dude, I have more national championships than he has conference titles. And it's like,
Yeah.
and he just like he wanted to run the races he wanted to run. He wanted to train the way he wanted to train. Like, okay, well, next, you know,
Yeah.
your senior,
Yeah.
you'll do what you do, and I'm going to go over here and focus on the freshmen and the sophomores because you just stopped listening to me,
Yeah.
you know. A big and I don't. Hopefully that doesn't sound arrogant or cocky, but like I was taught early on like who do you listen to, and it goes back to the expert thing. I don't go to the auto mechanic shop and say, "Oh, this is what's wrong with my truck. You need to do this, this, and this." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I hear this noise or this thing is going on. Tell me how to fix it or whatever, or tell, you
Yeah.
know, fix it. For the insurance world, I would go to you for advice, right? For the fitness world, you come to me for advice.
Sure.
You know, it's like, dude, you've built nothing. You know, you're at this beginner level, yet you have every excuse in the book or every tactic or reason in the book. You're talking to me, you're trying to like teach me and teach other people, and you haven't done it yourself yet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the VDP. That's your very drainable person, and just like, well, I gotta
I like that
focus
one.
elsewhere. Yeah.
Like that one. I'm gonna steal that one. That's a good one. If you're in the insurance space and trying to build an agency, or you're trying to like break records in sales, just hit new levels, new heights, click the link below to apply to my consulting and coaching program that I have out there. I'm helping tons of people get to new levels, get to new income heights, help them build their teams, put systems in place, staffing stuff, recruiting processes, automations, and just teaching people how to get to a point where they're selling on their own pen 30, 40, 50 grand a month. And if they're building a team, teaching how to have an effective structure to your insurance agency for the most profitability you can. There is an application process. I'm only looking to work with like high-end people who really want to make big things happen. A couple recent clients that we've had in the coaching program. One dude as an individual went from selling like 8 grand a month, barely getting by, about to quit the industry, found the book, hit me up direct, started a coaching program, went to 35K his first month, has issued like 150K in the last 90 days, and has changed the trajectory of his career. Working with another agency builder, very first month went from doing like 800 grand a month to almost 1.1 million. We added like 10 or 15% production in 30 days and continue to work on things there. So if you're interested, click the link, apply, and if you're a fit, I'll reach out. It's
Cool.
tough. The mental energy thing. It's which is crazy that for those that are watching, you're going to be like, you had them on because you're the same. I'm like, we don't know a ton about each other. And
No,
it's
not
funny
really.
hearing some of your words are like exactly the shit, like the exact things I talk about with my team a lot. So it's cool to see that
Yeah.
I'm on the right
Yeah, there's a
path
ton
with
of,
some stuff,
well, well, I've been, you know, and that's why I text you. I've seen your stuff on social and I'm like, I love it. I love what this guy does. I love the way he talks. I'm like, he's a
Yeah,
winner. He's good at what he does. And I'm like, I should tell him my story, you know,
yeah,
like you got to
yeah,
hear my story, what happened.
yeah,
And yeah. And then you're like, hey, you should jump on my podcast.
yeah,
Cool.
100%.
Here we
I'm
are.
all about it, dude.
So,
What's next for you? What are you gunning for out there? I've seen some pictures of the gym, obviously, and you do all these crazy events. Like,
yeah.
how do you push yourself at this level? You know, like
hmm
what's next?
Yeah. I mean, a
Hey,
few
dude.
years ago, well, quite a few years ago, like Grand
Oh, let's come
Teton.
say
Hey,
hi.
what's going on?
This is my son Braden.
What's up,
What
Braden?
up?
Hey, I'm Derek.
No, he said hi. He's Derek. You can put on the other AirPod.
Yeah.
So he's 17, and sorry to cut you off, but that's kind of how
All
we're
good.
rolling right now. Come over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
So now he's gonna be on his first podcast.
Cool.
And he hates me for it. 17, and he can get his license when he's 18. And I'm like, you should get on the phones, bro. If you want to start making money, learn the phones. So he's 17 years old, man, calling and booking appointments for some of our guys.
Nice.
Track guy to just cross country at school, actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm trying to teach him to be a successful adult in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
So
raise good kids. We raise good future adults.
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's
You
awesome.
can curl up in a ball and run away if you want now.
I'm getting a cold.
Are you? Yeah, he's out there. We're making him work, and now it's about reps for him and everything,
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
try to teach that stuff. It's man, I've done a lot of things wrong, but
Yeah.
I figured out a lot of reps goes a long way in a lot of different parts of my life.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's neat, man, watching them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
like the future, our kids, because you've seen successful people with like very unsuccessful children,
yeah,
and I take that really quite seriously. Um, is it goes back to that financial thermostat. I'm like, I
yeah,
want to tell my kids like, no, 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 no. Like I came from this mentality and
yeah,
this level, and I've brought it to here,
yeah,
and I want this to be your starting point because there are people here,
yeah,
and
yep.
you know, I haven't dialed in that repetition and yeah, there's so much to talk about. Like as an athlete, you rep out until it becomes automatic, right?
Yeah.
A good athlete will practice until they get it right. A great athlete will practice until they cannot get it wrong.
It's one of my
And,
favorites.
yep, yep. And you do that the same way with your thinking and your actions and what you do in life and business and um yeah, I just want my kids to level up. That's all. So
Yeah. Same, brother.
that's kind of off topic, but
No, it's all right. Next big
we're
thing. What are you working on?
next big
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Grand Teton was like years ago. It was like the hardest thing I'd ever done. I remember going on a climb and it was like this 10 pitch climb, meaning like we go up a length of our rope and then we do that 10 times up a wall, 1,000 feet. And
What?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a rock climber. I'm a big time rock climber. I climbed El Capitan in Yosemite Valley. I spent 4 days on the wall
So just
climbing El
straight up
Capitan.
those flat, just
Hmm.
what are you hooked in?
Yep, yeah. Living in a
Following those
port,
yeah.
yeah, living in a portaledge, hanging on a tent, like sleeping on a hanging cot,
Dude, I
thousand
did a
thousand feet off the ground.
I think it was when I was in Colorado, maybe. I did this thing where it was kind of like we did it, but it was like a tour, and they put you on one and you more went across more than what I mean? It was like a touristy one. Bro, I was standing on the side of this ledge, bro. I don't know,
Huh.
150 feet in the air. It wasn't that crazy. But when you don't do that, just standing on the
Yeah,
little thing, just hooked into that one little clip that's somehow in a rock, I looked
yeah,
down. I was like,
yeah,
bro, that's intense, dude.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
intense.
yeah. Another cool business thing, law of familiarity, right?
True.
Law of familiarity. It's like what you do consistently over time, you get familiar with, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that helps you level up, and that's happened to me in rock climbing over the course of the last, um, 24 years.
That's insane.
I've gotten very, very comfortable on a wall, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've done some of these climbs. It's like the hardest thing you ever do, and then next thing you know, you're doing that and more, and so. Yeah, it has turned a lot to like going on adventures with people I train
That's
and
cool.
clients I
Yeah.
train, and so then you're like you run out of time to do things for yourself, and every year I do try to keep at least one thing on the calendar for myself. So
Dude.
yeah, this year in November, it's my goal there in Red Rocks, Nevada, so just outside Vegas. There's
Hmm.
Red Rocks, Nevada. There's this wall. There's this mountain. It's called Rainbow Mountain, and there's this wall called Rainbow Wall. It's where all the professional rock climbers, go and like aspiring professionals go. And on my 40th birthday, my wife's cousin said, "Hey, Derek, let's go climb Rainbow Wall." And I sent him back a laughing emoji on a text. And he's like, "No, dude, I'm serious." And so trained my butt off. And on my 40th birthday, we went and climbed Rainbow Wall.
Wow.
Well, there's another climb on the other side of Rainbow Wall called Levitation 29. It's a famous climber. It's her favorite climb in all of the United States. It's called, yeah, Levitation 29. So now I want to link it up. I'd like to go in. So it's like a 2.5 hour hike into Rainbow Wall. It's
Okay.
14 pitches of climbing. So 1,400 feet of climbing. I want to rappel off the other side, climb 1,000 feet on the other side, rappel off to the first side, and then hike out. I kind of want, and yeah, I want to do it in a single day.
Are you doing that in November?
One
Is that,
push. Yeah. November.
are you really?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
You going with a crew? Or
It'll
just
just
you?
be, it'll be just me and one of my climbing partners. Yeah. You gotta
Jeez. I can't wait to see that.
light and fast. Yeah. Light and fast. So
So a few
two.
weeks after Aspen. Woo-wee.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Okay.
should be acclimatized to altitude, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully that's not an issue. But yeah, I gotta really dial in. I haven't been climbing a whole lot right now. I've been, focused in other things. So I have to like really
Yeah.
dial in my grip strength and my climbing strength. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
love it, dude. I
yeah,
love it. This is
yeah.
fun. We could do this for like 5 hours.
Oh, I'm sure we could talk forever. And
Yeah.
like any one of these topics, I mentioned it super briefly, the entheos thing, like
Hmm.
the of God thing. Oh, dude, I could talk for an hour probably on that.
Yeah.
Like I just there's so many things, but at the end of the day, just like your book said, get to work. And
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Hey, do you know this guy? Curious if you know him. He runs this thing. Have you ever heard of Muscle Mountain? Do you know what that is?
Muscle Mountain. No, I feel like I
Yeah.
should know what it is though.
You definitely should. Hold on, let me see if I can find him on Instagram live. Eric Hinman. Do you know the name?
Eric Hinman.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
5-time Ironman. He has this. Let me see if I can find a video of it real quick.
Oh, okay.
A buddy of mine, does these. What do you call them? What's that? Is it Leadville? Is that the bike one? He
Oh
does those
yeah.
long
Yep.
bikes. He does. He's great.
Yep.
Marty, shout out if you watch it. He does those, and he shared something. He knows or is connected with the
Oh,
guy who started that like ketone whatever IQ thing, and he told me to follow this guy this weekend. Dude, he's a savage. And he has this whole like outdoor gym where they train. Right now, they're training for like what's that? Hydrox? Is that what it's called?
High rocks.
High
High
rocks.
rocks. Yep.
Yep. He's doing some stuff for that, and he does all
Mhm.
kinds of shit. And my
Yeah.
buddy Marty's like, oh, I used to live right by him. And
No way.
anyway, it seems like your jam. So you may
For sure.
follow him.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him. I followed him for like 3 days. And some of the stuff, what I like that he does is he has this thing. I would love to do something like this in the space with some people to try to merge fitness and business. I don't really know where I want to go with it, but he has this like club, if you will. And it's a bunch of dudes who own their own business and they do crazy adventurous fitness stuff together too.
Mhm.
Do masterminds and shit like that. But you have to be some kind of I think it might be called Founders Club even.
Okay.
Super intrigued to see where this little business fitness journey takes me.
That's
Because
cool.
I meet my kind of people doing this. Because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not the biggest people person. As much as I speak and talk in front of people, like naturally, dude,
Mhm.
most of this working out, 99% of it, I've been by myself.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
typically go to the mountain with anyone. I don't, but
Yeah.
I'm like, there's other people like me out there, and I'm starting
Yeah.
to
There.
find them through this
Hmm.
fitness journey. It's neat.
Yeah. For sure.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I used to run this camp called the acronym was MOM. And we told people because you'd cry for your mom.
going to see mom. Yeah,
It
got
was
it. I love it.
we called it mind over misery. Mind over
Wow.
misery. And my goal was to mentally break you before I physically broke you. Like a trainer never wants to physically break somebody, right?
Sure.
Like I never want to do something where someone's in a position where they could potentially hurt themselves. So I
Yeah.
was always thinking about like what are things and events we do where we mentally give up before we physically give up, and if we don't mentally give up, then we find a new physical level,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
And yeah, just some really just like for lack of better terms, just some mind fuck workouts.
Yeah.
Um, there used to be this gym in Utah called Jim Jones. Are you familiar?
No, I know Jim Jones,
Yeah.
the rapper, but I don't know. Yeah. No.
So Jim Jones was this like Jim like Jim Jones. He had a cult and they all like drank poison in the wilderness and died, right? So there's this guy, Mark Twight, he's a world-class alpinist, and he started a gym in Utah called Jim Jones, GYM Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole premise behind it was like the mind is primary, right? And
Crazy.
and he built his gym around that. And yeah, I went out there a couple times and I kind of like learned quite a bit from him. He was
Yeah.
definitely a role model, whether he knows it or not. Yeah, but spent some time out there. And he's since sold the gym, but he trained the people for the movie 300. If you ever saw the Spartan
Oh
Warrior
yeah.
movie,
Hell yeah.
he
Yeah.
was their trainer. He trained the the guys for Man of Steel, the Superman
Got it.
movie. And so
I've
yeah, he
seen
was
that
like,
dude around. I've seen some people talk about the guy with 300 before.
yeah, yeah, dude. I applied to go to go work out there and go train there. Like you apply online and they accept you. And I went all the way from Wisconsin to Utah, and you get in the room and they're like, hi, my name's John and I'm going to be your trainer today. And Yeah, I don't know. I'm a volunteer firefighter. I do this for fun. And you see Mark Twight over there. He coaches, world-class athletes
Yeah,
and movie stars. He goes, so if you're not ready to bring your A game, we can just call it good right now. You're like,
that's
we
fucking
haven't even
awesome.
started yet. And you're like, oh, I'm ready to bring my A game for sure. And he's like, all right, well, we'll see. Come on over. Like, and then they tell you, like after the day's workout, they tell you if you're welcome back tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
They're I signed up to come here for a week to like learn from you guys, and it's day
Yeah,
one, and you're saying we don't even have to start, and then we're gonna do a workout, and we'll let you know if you can come back tomorrow.
that's
Like
my style, dude.
that was their
I love it.
mentality.
I love
Like,
that style.
yeah,
We have,
loved it. So yeah, that's where Mind Over Misery came out of,
it's
and
good.
yeah,
It's good.
I gotta make it. I have this space, the commercial space that I used to rent out to one of the gyms I sold. They ended up building their own gym, and I have a dream that I'm gonna like take black and white photos of people I've trained that have done just epic shit, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna post these big posters of people that I've trained in
Sick.
my gym and invite people out there like that. So when people walk in the room, they're like, "Whoa, what are all these posters?" I'm like, "Oh, those are people that I've trained, and that's the epic shit
I've
that they've
done.
done."
Hell yeah.
you know? And
Hell yeah.
by the way, did you come here to bring your A game or should we just end this now?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm going to use that in hiring. I like the concept and I do it, but I'm going to steal those words exactly. I have a guy today. He's one of the things I'll do with some people is because everybody talks a big game, and what kills people in our space is the phones. Pick up the phones and start making sales calls. Do people? I've seen grown men crumble. So I'm building out a new team, like a new direct team, just some young killers that want to do some big things.
Mhm.
And I'm like, we're just not going to accept mediocre people this time. Last time it took me a while to kind of figure out who is who and who I want to
Mhm.
work with. And this one dude wanted to come on. He's broke as shit, and God bless him. He's in a hole, and verbally said some things, but like some good things. But he hasn't been performing for his family. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm not the magic, bro. I mean, I can tell you what to do, but if you don't do shit, I ain't that good. And so
Yeah.
we're testing now, having people that come into my agency that want to work. They're getting in the group with our team, and I'm making them do phone calls for a certain amount of time for several
Mhm.
days before we choose to bring them onto the agency.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
genius.
yeah, it's fun.
People get like you get some success and people all of a sudden think like all I got to do is latch onto this guy,
Correct.
right? And then
Yep.
it's like, well, you got to do the work. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing. People hire me as a trainer like, "Oh, Derek Toshner is my trainer. I'm golden now." It's like
Mm-mm.
you got to put in the work, man. It's 5K a day. Let's go every
Yeah.
day. Like every
Yep.
day? Yeah, every day.
Every day. Trust me,
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it,
So,
dude.
yeah, I like that. Yep, that's good.
Man, well, appreciate you coming on, dude. And
Yeah.
with whatever you want, something we didn't talk about that you wanted to cover, or something positive and make people feel good, and wide open. Anything you want, you wrap it up with.
Wow.
Yep. I always end this way, and I give no direction at all.
Hmm. Uh, Compound interest affects more than our finances.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Compound interest affects more than everything you do compounds. We talked about the ski hill,
Yeah.
right? And I've just seen it in life, like decisions you make, good or bad. Like if you make a bad one, well, we better make a good one and start the snowball rolling the other way. Um, I just think that's where I've gotten to in my life with my
Yeah.
fitness journey, with business is little things add up, and you can't imagine how these little drops in the bucket of, I just put in the time today. It was honestly it was a shitty day. I didn't work out my best, but I was here. I put in the time. Sometimes you're gonna have those days.
Hmm.
You're gonna have those days in fitness. You're gonna have those days in business. But the other option was like, oh, I didn't feel like it today, so I didn't go.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, there's a big difference between those two, right? There's a big difference between making a bad investment and making an investment that's like, meh, it wasn't great, but it's there, you know?
Yeah.
What
It's true.
happens to that little one 30 years from now? You can never predict, right? And so, yeah, that's what I just try to teach my kids is that
I love it.
the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And so you have to like Focus on that. Like it might not happen today, but 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 30 years from now, where are you going to end up? You know?
Yeah.
So, and maybe that was a John Maxwell thing. Start with the end in mind, maybe.
I've heard that. I don't know who
Yeah.
said that, but I've heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Start with the end and work backwards.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a great way to kind of open your mindset up to that concept that everything has compounding effects.
It's a good one.
Hmm.
I like that one. It'll be the
Cool.
title of this bitch. I like it.
Awesome.
Good shit, man. Well, I
Good deal.
appreciate your time, dude. Thanks for sharing.
All right.
And I'm sure we'll talk soon because
Yeah.
I'm getting close, bro. And I gotta,
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I'm ready
Yeah.
with all the other stuff.
We'll be in-
Physically, I feel great. So
Mm.
I appreciate all your help and input and
Yeah.
even the little things you don't notice that you do to help. So thanks for your time,
Yeah,
dude. And
it's
keep
taper
killing it
time.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Yeah,
about that.
sounds
That
good.
made me
Thanks.
push hard today. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna push today. I'm gonna see if I can get a new 5K record."
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't know.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, the
I
hay
didn't
is in
really
the
look
barn.
forward that much. So
The training's done right after this week, right? So like my coach told me, all you can do is get in the way of yourself now. So like, just get out of the way and let your body perform to what it's capable of performing. You'll be
let's
fine.
go.
Nothing you can do in the last 2 weeks is going to get you in better shape. You know?
True.
Yeah, you're not going to
man.
lose your fitness in 2 weeks. Just go out there and do it. And yeah, we'll be in touch on the phone for sure.
I love it, man. Appreciate.
Thanks for having me
your
on.
time,
Yeah.
brother. Always. Won't be the last one, dude. We'll talk
All right.
soon.
Okay.
All right,
See ya.
guys. Later.